For entrepreneurs, AI is opening up a world of possibilities, but there's also some dangers. I'm hearing a lot about that from my clients, from students, people taking our courses. Hey, what about the dangers? Well, I've seen there's a lot of them out there, but there's 5 major dangers out there, and we're going to address those here so you can know what to do about them so you can succeed with it. And let's get right to it here. Danger number 1 is a biggie, particularly for those of us who produce content creators. We do YouTube, we do podcasts, we write, and all of that. Will AI take your job? That is a big issue right now. We used to think, oh, it's probably going to do the automation, yeah, and the factories and all that. Well, yeah, it's doing that. But for writers, if you've seen ChatGPT, if you've seen Perplexity, if you've seen Web Chat GPT and some other tools like that are out there, Jarvis, really good tools that do a good job in writing. And hey, there's a lot of people saying, well, what you can do is just get that, have it do the writing for you, you copy it, and then paste it in. Well, I got some things to say about that. I think that there's a lot of things that you can do. And I'm really on the camp of the people who are saying now, AI itself is not going to take your job, but a human being who understands AI really well could likely do that. So what you've got to do is you've got to get those kind of skills that are going to help you to get ahead. I think back to the 70s when we had IBM Selectric typewriters. Hey, if you were a real good person at the office and you could type fast on those, you had a good job ahead. But guess what? That skill is not so much needed today. We don't need the typists as much because, hey, we're using microphones. We can dictate, and we do that much faster. Yes, we still need to do some typing, but not nearly as much. But you have to learn new skills. If you were a manager back then and you operated in the way and the style of the 70s, hey, that's a little out of date today. Yeah, I know that's 50 years ago. That long? Yeah, that long ago. But at the same time, things keep changing. And this is the way life works. My old buddy Charles Darwin talked about it when he said that it's not those who are the strongest or the fastest that survive, but those who can adapt most to changing circumstances. That's the key, being able to adapt and adjust to the way things are. And by the way, Charles Darwin did not say survival of the fittest. That was actually Herbert Spencer, a great philosopher from England who came around talking about survival of the fittest. He kind of summed up what Charlie Darwin said. And in a way, that's kind of like it. That's what it is. But think about that. That's the way it is in history. So could AI take your job? Yeah, anything could. Could a computer take your job? We heard that back in the late 90s. People saying, oh, the computers are going to take our jobs away from us. What are we going to do? Well, those who learned how to use computers did very well, and they're still doing well. You've got to continually adapt to say, well, I know how to do this, therefore the world must give jobs to me with this skill set. Sorry, Sparky, you're in the wrong planet. You're on that wrong planet. You've got to adapt and adjust. So you're going to see that there's a lot of machines that are doing a lot of tasks. And I think, frankly, we need that because you think about farmers. Right now, we've got tools where you can have farmers who, those that I've worked with, tend to be really tech savvy. They understand the technology, they understand agronomy, they know about how to put things together with agriculture to feed us and give us food. We really appreciate those folks. But you think about it, years ago, many years ago, the only way to till the land, which you needed to do, would be with oxen or with mules or some kind of beast of burden that you would strap together and you go behind them plowing the field. Well, we don't do that very much anymore, anywhere. We're using machines. Did those machines take jobs from farmers? Well, we don't have as many farmers now. I hear that back in the American Revolution, 90-some percent, 93, 95% of the population was in farming. You farmed your land, that's what you did. You had your plot of land, you tilled the land, all of that was there. We don't do that today. Instead, farmers change, and so it adapts. And the key is adapting. And so that's the key, how you adapt around this. What you're going to do is you're going to adapt. You see, AI will take some jobs, and there's going to be a lot more created. So right now there's a big demand for prompt engineers, people that design these prompts. These are the people that come up with those brilliant prompts that you see for ChatGPT and other AI tools. We're using that now with Cast Magic and coming up with them. And I love the system that they have. They've got a community where you can share ideas in the prompts that are working well with you. So this is because many new jobs are coming because of AI. So if you're a programmer, and you can figure out how to program just the right tools and the right solutions to help people, you're going to have a good job. There's a lot of people today that are getting jobs because they can do coding. So you see, we're at a point to see that something new is changing. You want to be on alert right now. Be alert to say, okay, what are they looking for now? Where is there a demand? Where is there a need? And hey, that's what it means to be an entrepreneur. You find that need and then you fill it. That need where people are going, hey, we're hurting. We're willing to pay to eliminate this pain or to get this new goodie. And you can do it because you have expertise and skills very rapidly. You can do it very effectively at a cost level to them that is affordable and to you is profitable. It's all part of being an entrepreneur, part of doing that live and let live that we talk about. So there's several points that we want to make in a video that I'm going to share with you at the end of this video here. So stay tuned. I'm going to share with you a video on how to specifically get your job secure and enhance it with the skills that you need and the kind of things that need to take place. Because we're going to do all of that here at Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. Hi, I'm Terry Brock. I don't think I introduced myself, but I'm your guide here at Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, where we embrace the live and let live philosophy. The idea of what we call the NAP, the non-aggression principle. The idea is you don't hurt others, don't take their stuff, don't aggress against others, and we're going to be just fine. And so this is a peaceful way of living, and it's all wrapped around the idea of being an entrepreneur and achieving the goals that you want. So there's a lot of opportunity today, and frankly, hey, I really love it. So now let's look at danger number 2. Danger number 2 is that people can become lazy because they think that all they have to do is copy and paste. I've talked about this a little bit more, but we need to stress this. It's important. You do not want to do that. I've seen videos on YouTube by well-meaning people that say, hey, this is really good. We've got ChatGPT. Here's what you do. You ask it this question, just copy that and paste it in there, and voila, you've got a wonderful post. Not really. Because there's several dangers. First of all, it might not be correct. It might be inaccurate. It could be copyrighted by someone else. Yeah, that's a big issue right now. You want to make sure that it's something that you put your own creativity into it. And you need to do that when you're telling a story, when you're speaking. Those of you that are professional speakers, if you're doing a podcast, doing your YouTube channel, if you're writing, make sure you talk about your own experiences, what you did, what you experienced. Kind of like I did just earlier today, talking about the 70s when I saw that, the IBM Selectric typewriters. Many people will relate to that. Those of you that are under age 30 will be going, what is that? Well, Google it. Okay, but you get the idea. There's a lot, and you want to keep changing and growing all the time. So give it your experience there. And as good as ChatGPT is, and it's a real good tool, I love it, it doesn't know your own personal experiences. It doesn't know about that conference you went to last year in March where you heard this professor speaking about a topic and she was really good. Boy, she just nailed it on what needs to be done on that. People don't know about that, and ChatGPT doesn't know about your experience with that. So you see, what you want to do, the bottom line, is use ChatGPT and Chat Magic and Perplexity and all those wonderful tools as an initial input. Look at it as a way of breaking the ice. It's a way for you to smash that writer's block as well. So you can learn about all kinds of new opportunities that are out there. Don't just do the copy and paste. No, that's not good. You want to make sure that you use AI to get the tools that you want and do the research. I love it for that. I've seen videos where you can go out and get research and find out all kinds of interesting things. Like, for instance, I'm not a medical doctor. When I went to business school, we did not study a whole lot of medicine. Just left that part out. But I've been sending prompts to ChatGPT to say, act as a surgeon who understands this, or act as a medical doctor who is certified and knows how to do this. And I'll ask it a question. Now, here's a very important caveat on that. That is not the end of the game. You want to have a professional medical personnel, someone, your doctor, a nurse practitioner, someone that's really good, trained in this stuff, to give you competent medical advice. But you can get some ideas that you can present to them. And by the way, here's a little quick trick. In ChatGPT, always put in there and put it in the language that a 10-year-old would understand. If a 10-year-old can understand it, that's me. I'm kind of 10 years old at heart anyway. But do that and you'll be able to get it in language that you understand. Give me the medical term, the long one that I go, huh, what is that? And then put it in plain English so I'll understand. And then I can take that information to my doctor and get some information. Matter of fact, I've got my annual physical coming up, and I'm planning to do that with terms or ideas and things that I've had thoughts on. Just say, hey, doctor, translate this for me. What do you think? Because my doctor, really good, real bona fide doctor, certified and all that kind of thing, and he does a wonderful job. So that's what you want to do. And you want to make sure that you're looking at those and getting those places where you can have it. So the key is that you're doing your own thinking and planning. Think of yourself, as I've said before, as the copy chief at a copywriting house. The copywriting chief is the one who ultimately makes the decisions, and you have copywriting assistants that report to you. Think of ChatGPT, Perplexity, and others as your assistant. They provide wonderful input toward the final product, and some of it you go, okay, I can use that, and that's good. Yeah, that one's not as appropriate, but this one over here, let's modify it a bit and we can use it. So that's what you want to do. As you do that, you're going to get a lot more rich information, and you'll have the best combination. See, the best is not just using AI. The best output is when you combine the best of AI with the best of human creativity and human input. Put that combination together, and you've got something that's going to really be good. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to look at that. It's the first draft, and then you go through it. See, often for years we joked that something that came from the internet must be true. Hey, I got it on the internet, it must be true. We said jokingly, knowing that's not true. Well, guess what? ChatGPT is getting its information from the internet. So you've got to be careful that you're not just copying and pasting it. Make sure you got some information. Make sure that you see that you have done your research. There was an old thing that I heard in journalism a while back that I think was really appropriate right here, that it says when you're checking sources, you need at least 3 non-corroborating sources. You want those non-corroborating sources. In other words, they don't know each other. They're not depending on each other. They're not looking at each other and how to get what needs to be done, and relying on that. You want to make sure there's 3. Now, if one person says it, okay, that's interesting. 2 people, hey, it's a coincidence. 3, some have joking going, oh, it's a trend. Well, you and I know it might not necessarily be a trend, but at least getting 3 sources is good. That's why, for example, I like to use ChatGPT and Perplexity when I'm out doing a serious research project. I want to get some information. Sometimes they give the same information. Sometimes they corroborate with each other. Sometimes I get different information from one than I got from the other. That's a good thing. So it's kind of like having people on your team that might have differing views on a particular topic. That's healthy. I like listening to people who have an opinion different from mine. Not to argue with them, no, but I want to hear why they believe, what their thought is. As Ayn Rand would you say, check your premises. I love that phrase, check your premises. Very important to understand where you're coming from and what you're doing. You see, it has several advantages and features in ChatGPT and in Perplexity, and they each sparkle and shine. I recommend take a look at Perplexity if you haven't already, and look at it. I'm using that right now, and we love it. Gina and I are using it a lot, and we find that it's very, very good. Danger number 3, don't automatically trust AI tools to be accurate. We've talked about this a little bit before. See, many times people will think, oh, AI tools, they're going to be perfect. They're going to give me the right answer. Not really, because they sometimes will give you the wrong answer. Matter of fact, we were doing a program for our friend, with our friend Rebecca Morgan. She has a speakers newsnet that's available on there, and she works a lot with professional speakers. She and Ken Braley, who I consider my brother because he and I were born on the same day, but Ken Braley and Rebecca Morgan do a great job with this. We were doing a search on her, and we were going to talk about it, and it came up and said, Rebecca Morgan has her PhD in this and everything. I thought, I didn't know that. Well, we did a little bit further research and found out there is a Rebecca Morgan, another one, that's not the Rebecca Morgan we know, who does have a PhD. So I use that as an example to say, Rebecca's just a great person and she's really good, but you know, she didn't even tell us this, but I discovered she has her PhD. There it is. It says it on the internet. It must be true, right? No, not at all. So she doesn't have that. She's very smart and knows a lot of good things, but she hasn't got a PhD. But what you want to do is, I use that as an example, that it can give you false information. Hey, there's a lot of Terry Brocks out there, not just me. And there's several that are out there that are doing some really good work. And if you're Terry Brock and you're watching this, thank you. I love your work. I'm seeing it out there, seeing all the names of Terry Brock popping up. So make sure that you're doing your research with ChatGPT and others. Don't just accept it as gospel and it's good when you see it. Do your due diligence and do your research. Danger number 4, your privacy. You need to be very careful about the information you're putting into the prompt that you give to ChatGPT and other tools, because that information then becomes public knowledge. Yes, some companies have seen that. We saw that Samsung had some problems where they were putting in some secret formulas they're working on, some new developments, etc. Got on the internet, and now people all over the internet are reading what they're doing. Big mistake. I think we're going to see a rise on more proprietary, only for our group, intranet kind of applications, so that it stays within the house. There's some of that already. We're probably going to see a lot more of it. And so you've got to be careful. It becomes public knowledge, and then that means you want to be careful. Do not put your social security number into ChatGPT. Do not put your mother's maiden name. Those kind of proprietary ideas and those concepts you want to keep sacred and treat them just like your financial information. You wouldn't go on and give the world your entry passwords into your financial situation, your banks or your stock records or things like that. You'd keep that very private and secret. So put an extra measure of care into what you're putting in there. Never put sensitive personal information out there, or the PII. They call it personal identifiable information. PII. Do not put that out there in the form of a prompt. And danger number 5, don't expect AI to do it all. Relationship marketing is now more important than ever. Don't let the temptation to let everything be done by AI hurt you. I've heard people that say, hey, I want to get messages that ChatGPT is going to send out automatically to thousands of people, and it'll sound like it's really me talking to them. That's dangerous. We've seen that through the years. Just in my experience in a few decades, in the 80s, the 90s, we saw what happened when they first started sending out the mail. After a while, we learned that they could put their first name, so when it said, hi, Terry, that I knew it wasn't necessarily personal. We might have thought at first, and that's a nice touch, but that's not the way to do it. You want to couple the human care, the human relationship marketing with the best of the skills of AI. Put all of that together and you have the combination. You see, I like to think that it's really about relationships, building relationships. A book I wrote a little bit earlier and thinking about revising and bringing it up to date is, say, relationship marketing. It's not about the e-commerce, all the electronics. It's about the R-commerce. Relationships. The relationships you build, that's what matters. Now, you can use AI to make things a little bit easier. There's a program called BHuman, and it gives you the ability to have your picture, your video on here talking, saying, hi, first name, I want you to know that I care for you and we've got a new product, da, 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 da. And for all of you in Orlando, you can do this. And then what you do is you go back with the AI, and it takes your mouth and forms it differently so that you can have a list of thousands of people with their first name, so that when instead of saying first name, it says Mary, Terry, Bob, Sally, whatever the first name might be for that person on the list. And instead of Orlando, where we live, it would say the name of the town or the name of the district, something like that, or an area of interest. That's okay, and I think there's probably a place for that, but I'm a little bit leery of it because I think as soon as people know that's not really you doing it, then it could erode a whole lot. So I'd be careful to let AI do it all. I think it's going to be the combination. It's not a matter of just what you can do with the AI to make it easier for you. What it is, it's a matter of you doing all of that. Well, I'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think about that. And matter of fact, I got that video I want to talk to you about a little bit. A way that you can get help on these things is through our Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. Many people say, well, Terry, this is good. I like what you're doing, but you and Gina can do even more, and you're doing even more through our Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. Again, we're embracing the live and let live philosophy, the idea of do anything you want to do, as long as you do not harm another. You don't hurt others and you don't take their stuff. So you can do that. And we have a way that you can let the algorithms know by liking, sharing, and subscribing to this. That will let the algorithms know that you are standing up for that. And another way you can is to come to our event every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We have our Stark Raving event. It takes place, and we usually have some of the best speakers in the world in the Speaker Hall of Fame, people who are Cavett Award recipients coming in and getting a chance to talk with you, and you get a chance to interface with them. And we really learn about a lot of powerful topics that can help you. Every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Come on by. We'd love to see you there and join us for that. So the key is, with these dangers that are out there, we acknowledge them. We understand, yeah, they're real, but you can overcome them. That's the key. And a good way to do that about the jobs and finding out what to do is to tap into this. Here we've got something that's a goodie for you. It's an AIToolsForBiz.com. So if you're listening to this on audio, AITools, the number 4, biz.com is where you'll want to go. And we're covering a lot of tools in there. There's no charge for this. We just want to help you. Many people have helped me to get ahead and to become who I am. I want to help you with this. So you go in there, you can get that information. And also, we're continually adding to it, putting in new information as we see, here's a goodie that you can use. We like to put that in there so you can get it that way. And if you're watching this on video, here's a QR code that you can use. You can just freeze the tape for a moment here. If we're using a tape, actually we're using a recording, so you just hit a pause button there and you'll be able to get a screen capture of that. And if you're listening to this on audio, you might want to bounce over to our YouTube channel to take a look at it, Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, and you can get it that way. So we've got tools for you, lots of good things waiting, and coming up next, this video to help you so that you can keep your job. AI will not steal your job. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, your most precious resource, to be with me. I'll look forward to hearing from you.